Good morning. Hi. Good day. How you guys doing? I hope you glad that this is. Hope you're doing well. And the weather's kind of changing and things are going crazy. And I'm glad that this election. Most of all, I'm glad that this election is over. But I'm going to should play this video. A little video.
Trump is projected to return to the White House as the 47th president.
Yeah, Trump claiming victory with wins in key battleground states. Take a look at the map. Trump's win in Wisconsin putting him over the 270 threshold needed to clinch the presidency. We do expect to hear from Vice President Harris sometime this morning. Eyewitness News reporter Irene Cruz is live in studio with the very latest. Irene.
Yeah, John, Rachel, good morning. It really was that win in Wisconsin that changed everything, put him over that 270 threshold needed to take that presidency. It has marked a major comeback for a former president. He has vowed to dramatically reshape federal government, and this morning Trump spoke about the projected victory, saying he's going to keep his promises to voters.
And every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. Every single day I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve.
Now, his coarse rhetoric throughout his campaign has really resonated with frustrated and angry voters, and it's been a tumultuous election season, including 2 assassination attempts on Trump and a shift to a new Democratic nominee just a month before the DNC. Democratic rival Kamala Harris has not spoken this morning about the results, but we did hear from her campaign co-chair.
We will continue overnight to fight to make sure that every vote is counted, that every voice has spoken. So you won't hear from the Vice President tonight, but you will hear from her tomorrow.
Trump is the first former president to return to power since 1892. He is also the first person convicted of a felony to be elected, and at 78 years old, he is the oldest person elected as president.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel and download.
Now this is my take on what happened with the election. It's my opinion after watching the video. Let's start with the basics first. First of all, the border was the main thing. The border of the United States was the major problem. Secondly, you allow people to come into the country under this administration, and why they've been having American citizens that were getting laid off. There were American citizens that lost their jobs. There have been American citizens, why companies laying off. Then you hiked up the inflation. Under the Biden administration, people trying to figure out how they're going to put food on their plate. You have a lot of people out there in smaller towns and cities across the United States trying to struggle how they're going to pay the rent. They astronomical pay the rent off. So you have more homeless people that was put on the streets. So this was the problem under the current administration right now. Then people start losing their homes, so they start going up on their apartments. The next thing about it is you give the people who ain't legal, they didn't come through the proper channels like other immigrants to come in and swear oath, get a green card, and they become productive citizens. This is what they messed up. Then you took the illegal people who broke the law, didn't respect when they were coming up from the border. There's videos from 3 or 4 years ago. They didn't respect the police and the military in those countries down there. They come bolting over to the wall. The governors down there and the mayors and the sheriff and the border patrol told them we need to do something. there are people coming over the border. There are people coming over the border that has some records. So you let the people over in the border Biden administration, and guess what? Across social media, which they try to limit the rights under the Biden administration, trying to sue these social media companies like YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and anybody that has a Rumble and any other platform for the freedom of speech, and say that you make up a story that we can see if you that you will make the video take the people who freedom of speech exercising their right to speak on what they feel about politics. That's another mistake that you've done. Then you hurt people that's working part-time under the Biden administration, the tax people who maybe that they do little side gigs. So they want side gigs. He was Biden signed this legislation, so it was people trying to make it already. They have a little money in their pocket. Biden administration did this, signed some legislation that apps like Uber, DoorDash, you name it, all of them that's trying to put food on it, families, a little extra money so they could pay the utility bills or insurance or medical. This was on a Democrat watch. So even when they get a little job on the side, you tax them. Then you take the money that people have been taxed out, hard-earned money, whatever job, whatever occupation, from the highest to the lowest occupation, and you give the tax money to people who put $20-some thousand on a Fruit debit card, when you have citizens here, some disabled veterans, who is living on, and senior citizens living on $43 on food stamp, but you give some women and some men in some of these cities and states about $3 to $5 grand, and then give them additional stuff while your American citizen get off. Then on top of that, while the goodie was the cooking of the cookies were good for them, then some of these criminal gangs came over and start moving to the neighborhoods. Now you start a turf war. There were already a gang problem in places like Chicago and other places, but you're gonna bring another criminal element up into these cities and start a turf war. That's for average people. Then you close down schools in New York and Chicago to accommodate the migrants. This is under the Biden administration. And then when people the average person was complaining, you didn't want to hear it. La 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 la. Well, we'll get back to you. That was one, and that's one of the reasons probably why this was the 90% of the poor walks of life, every walks of life, United States citizens that's who were born, bred from generation after generation in this freaking country. Now, let's break down the racial barrier. Let's start with the Black African American community. You Democrats trying to put a division between black men and black women. You attack black men for something that, like any other men that's in the United States do, to decide whether they want to go Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Green. And then here is Obama trying to use the shaming tactics, use the black preacher, the shaming tactics, to shame people that decide they want to vote the other way. After what I just mentioned to you, but this, just like the other communities, black people is suffering in the same. They've been up in a generation of 400 years, generation of poverty. A good 90% of them have. Maybe a 5 to 10% probably are well off. So that didn't resonate with the average person. That's why Donald Trump, when working class people from all walks of life seen that, that he kind of, it was a strategy that he was able to go into McDonald's, go into a garbage truck, because that's where he was relating to the working poor people in that category. And so you use a division, and then by you using black, that you would think that then Michelle Obama did this to all women. Basically, you don't have to respect your husbands, your sons, your boyfriends, your uncles. You make those men come out there, because if you don't, you're going to give them HELLL and da, which caused division in all communities. This is the first black family that did this. Another thing that you did, people, let me say this, the idols are coming down. The idols are coming down. People love they love watching actors, musicians, athletes, but they're not political. They have their own opinion. That's who they're, just like anybody else. They get up every day of their life just like most of us do. They're just in a different tax bracket and in a better situation than 70-80% of us in this world. This is where you messed up. With majority of the people across, but you use, then let's go over there. Now the reason why Hispanic started swaying over to your way, because we know what that comedian did, and that's kind of, or Latinos and stuff like that, but they was able to get a certain percentage of them to still stand with Trump. So then when the Palestinians came to you, say, hey, what for? You had to ride the waves because you didn't want to affect the Jewish community, but at the same time, you didn't take a peaceful approach to try to resolve both sides of the conflict in Gaza. And then when finally you get close to election time, Kamala, just like you did with the border, you mysteriously show up at the border. Then, when the Muslim community came, an Arab Muslim community came to you, you didn't even want, you kicked some Muslims out. Then you didn't want to hear what you're going to do, because they have a voice too. You know, that's their concern. So you didn't want to listen to them. Then and then that turned the other communities away. Then the main thing, you did the most unthinkable thing. People, use common sense. If we don't have the next generations of people in the earth, and you cut down the population of people on the earth, of future taxpayers, kids going to be one day be adults and go through the cycle of life of human existence and going out to the work world, you know, it all connects. It all connects. Children are a blessing to God, to the Most High God. So people from all walks of life, from the people who didn't vote in high numbers, like the Amish and the Mennonite community, they was against that. The Muslim community, they was against that. And with other communities, probably the Hindu community, they're probably against that. And other people are against that. And then you try to push this narrative because it was hitting into those communities. But you started with among black men and black women. And then you heard that this is the slick part, that when they saw that maybe the other communities of women would jump on board and be this rift between men and women. That they don't have to really, whatever's going on in their family, husbands and wives, and how they were productive. This is what Michelle Obama did, and that's why they just is what us women versus men. And let me tell you something. There's been a rift between men a disproportion of women and men in this country, because men are kind of fed up with some of the laws that's already on the book that's coming against them anyway. And so they're ready. Some men were ready to check up out, were ready to go to another place in the world and check out of the United States. And then so Do you have women online saying that they're looking for a husband? There are women here in America that look like other places want a husband, which Democrats. They want to have a proper family, a nuclear family. Democrats. There were women online from all walks of life. Black women, white women, Hispanic women, Asian women, Arab women, you name it. Indigenous women, everybody want, because that brings the blessing and prosperity. Family brings the blessing and prosperity in this country. The Democrats didn't understand that. Then they add insult to injury, which people do by choice. You're trying to push an agenda in the mainstream schools on the next generation of people from all walks of life and their children on what sex they need to identify as. Democrats, you push this. You push this. And it was an agenda that was rising. So that cuts down the population. Masculate the women, feminine the men. Every walks of life, Democrats saw this. Every religion saw this. Every race saw this. But it had to start with a certain. But they got a certain agenda to push it on one community. If you get this one community that are the most actors, athletes, and everything, then other people follow this, because really, reality, black people, we are the trendsetters. They knew this, so that's why they go to the black. So you get these black celebrities. They was one of the first ones. Then the other celebrities going, come on with the black celebrities and the black preachers and everybody. Let's start this transcending, changing of the sex. See, it was first. No one, and people don't have no problem with the LGBTQ community. No one has no problem with that, because there's some people in the LGBT community is among our family and friends. No one has no problem with electing a woman. It was just the agenda behind the stuff. It was the agenda, and even the left saw that. Some people that were voted saw this was coming. This is the truth. So you start a rift between men, try to start something between men and women that make women over men. Men saw this stuff. Men from all walks of life saw this. Some women, and thank God for some women that caught on and say no. Because they see how hard it is already as a woman, that without a proper vision from men to guide them and give them some advice and probably be there and help them in certain areas. So you're going to. So this is really why some of these women who voted for Kamala wasn't too smart, and men wasn't too smart. Because if you take the men out of the home, who's going to protect it? Who's going to guide the children? And you have someone, I be the man and be the female. You can't do both. A man can't do both. There's got to be a balance. That's why the Most High made a balance between male and female. And it's the reason why you're the nurturer and the male is the protector. But in America, they want to define that. In other Western nations, they want to define that. But there's other nations on the planet that women understand this. And it's not that women are educated. Women should have the right, just like gay people can have the right to work the kind of jobs that they do and careers that they do. That's not the problem what America have. That's not the problem. Because women are educated, doctors, lawyers, whatever. But, and then here's another thing what you did with young girls and women. You people who choose to change their sex, that's still biologically a male, but get hormones to put female in the sports. So now you have women in the shower looking at somebody as a possible male with parts of a man. That make them is uncomfortable. and you were pushing this agenda. Now, there are some people in this world that unfortunately, we have a heart to go out to, that they were born with two organs. There are some people like that, but the enemy used this, which is a rare occasion, to make it lawful. Because there's some people born with two parts that were born. Some were born a woman that had male parts. One man was born with woman parts. That's one thing. But now you pushing this agenda that everybody has to have the same thing, and make it a law. Like I said, I'm all, like if somebody, for example, I think if this is my personal belief, America's of choice. But if a person's in the LGBT community, for example, I'm going to use it as an example, they should have their own schools. They should have their own thing. They should have their own schools, their own. If you want to teach that all together, that's on you. They can have their own business, live where they want to live, everything. But for the people who choose not to anticipate or teach their children that, this country needs to respect that. People need to respect. If someone don't believe in something, they shouldn't be forced to. And I do understand that. And as far as, like for example, certain things with Black history and Hispanic history, that should be taught on an individual basis, because people are not going to tell the whole thing about Black history anyway. So it's probably better for Black people to learn to teach that among yourself. That's how I feel. Because they're not going to tell you the whole truth anyway. So they're going to do it. They're going to do it anyway, because they call that critical race theory. So you probably want to teach it, because they're not going to teach you the truth about your history. What's going on. But the reality of it is, history is playing out now. The things that were in the past, that in early America, some of the things are still playing out now. People still carry the bloodline, the spirit of that now among us in America. That's the truth. So history is in the present. That part of history is in the present. So they can't hide that. But one day, if people choose to find out why there was a division based on skin and ethnic background, they can't hide that. Because just like how we find and research, they can't scrub everything off the internet. The Most High will reveal what really went on, the good and the bad in America. No matter how good, but it's going to be some bad. And wonder why there's a division. The younger generation is going to find out. All walks of life are going to find this out. So you can't hide this. Because look how we find out stuff now, in our late 40s and 50s. You don't think the future generations, once we gone, they're going to find out the same thing? So, if they really think that then they're sadly mistaken. So this is the reason why, and this is the reason why Donald Trump won. It was in the Black community, it was Obama's fault, and him and his wife, and it was these celebrities saying what they said on their podcast. You insulting people on a national podcast, your own people. You insult them. And all the other nationalities are seeing this. The Hispanic is noticing this. The Arab and people, with people who are Muslim, they're hearing this. The Asians, the East Asians, everybody hearing this. This particular community, so-called, trying to put their own in check, trying to discredit and say that Black men and Black women don't have the ability or don't have the brains to think. Don't have a comprehension. Then then that was the ultimate slap. And now you got other communities attacking the black community. That's what they did with affirmative action. They try to blame it on black people, but they hurt other people. They hurt themselves. Because most black people didn't benefit off affirmative action. That was something. And this happened during the time of the Biden administration. So they agreed that we get rid of it. And there was some people in the Asian community want this off the ballot. So it hurt some Asian students who wasn't part of the legacy program. And they said, well, and you know what it came down to? Jealousy, envious. Why? We see blacks on TV all the time. And there's other, and they're not the only ones. There's other people that do this too, thinking that they have a little privilege. Even though you see them getting, when it comes to the justice system, the medical system, and other system, they try to take them out. Even see some of us take each other out. But see, now it's backfiring on backfiring. But this happened under this administration. And then when these particular communities in Chicago, New York, Boston, where there's some place that was gentrified, the people before it, the gentrification kicked in, the people that had been there for living for a generation asked for help, they got ignored by the Democratic mayors. This is the reason why you messed up, Democrats. And people tell you just, I don't want to hear it. And they say, hey, we have some problem with our local streets. We have a problem with our local water supplies. We have a problem with our schools. Democrats, you messed up. You should have listened to those people. You should listen to your people, to the average working people who pay taxes. So when other people look what happened in the inner city area, you didn't take note. You said, you were just like these other people. Oh, let them, they'll get over it. You see pain, you see something drastic happen. When it comes to the inner city, you ignore some of those. But only time when something makes national news, when you show up. Only, and it has, when some black person in the city gets assassinated, eliminated by some race soldier, then you show up. Black people saw this, Democrats. They saw this. They saw the play. And they said, we're going to do this. And they march and they march and they march and they march. Nothing was done. No legislation was done. You didn't give a, immunity bill. Black people asked for that. You don't want to give reparations. But look what happened. And let's think about the descendants of the Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921 massacre. Look what happened to Oklahoma. 7 tornadoes. Those elderly women ask you to make it right. Do my people right. Because God knows they only have a certain amount of time. God let them live this long on the earth to tell the story. But look what happened to Oklahoma. So everybody gonna have to suffer. Because you want to do right by us. You want to cover this up. I mean, America's going to prosper, but America's going to have to make it right with the people they done unjustly wrong. They ask you to do the right thing. Where was the NAACP? Where was these other people when they asked for them? And they were living, they want their make it right with my generation of reparations. America didn't want to do it. And it probably was the same thing in North Carolina and Florida. Make it right with my people. No, you go back into the trees, go back into the background. Now you're paying for it through the weather system, through disasters. You see how, and then that was just one of the things that made the Most High continually do the things to this earth. We ain't talk about the other sins and debauchery and morality that was on the secret of the Democrat. And some Republicans agree with it too. You see many of us online teaching the word, trying to tell you what it is, only is that get their channel demonetized, telling the truth. You can't stop the truth that was coming. You see it in present day. They even have to take the truth to other platforms. This is the reason why. When you're large working in the marginalized people and don't hear they cry, this is what happened. And then the master manipulator thing, you did the same thing in the past. You would come a slave master would get the other slaves to get on board. You would go tell them what to teach in the church. You would tell them what to say on the plantation to get their workers to be more productive, and not to tell them not to be rebellious. Democrat Party, you doing it again among the people who are descendants of the slaves. And you don't think some of us ain't awakened to that? You can't be around for a person for 400 years and not, at some point they're not going to catch on. Some black people are catching on. Black men and black women they put two and two together. They have a relationship with the Most High God. Some of them are scared to speak the truth. And there's other people, white people and other people, are waking up. Because the same spirit that speaks to the black man is speaking to the white man, the brown man, and the red, and the man, the indigenous man, and everybody else. You lost, you ignored. This is why you lost. And I don't care if there's we have a black mayor and black senator, and the first black, that's over. That's over. What are you going to do for not just for black people, but what you've done for other people, but include black people in with the other people when they ask for help, like you do with the other people, but ignore it and say, come on, just shut up and stay in the background, keep worshiping and going to church, and let the black people put you on hypnosis. When they say, no, we need something now, we have a problem in the schools, we have a problem in our homes, like other people. You ignore your own people. Do you know the woman who is an Arab American up in Michigan, when her people ask for something, she does it for her people? Whether they're Muslim or Christian or Arabs up in Michigan, why can't the Black Caucus do the same thing? Why can't the black and other people, like the Asian community, why can't they do the same thing? Why do you have to put shame on black folks? It's like if someone, can advocate for indigenous people, and they say, hey, we need something in the indigenous community, and the Black Caucus, hey, and rightfully so, if they suffering, like other marginalized community, if you have poor white people in an Appalachian saying that they need something, and some are rightfully so, Black Caucus agree with it. But when the Black Caucus when asked for their own margin, would make the majority of it, who are Democrats, when Trump came to you, say, we see that you're in the city, I come to the black community, what do you need? And you turned him away. Then you said that he was a bigot, when it wasn't. This was all on TV. This is the reason why you lost. But you want to keep on hanging on with the same civil rights, keep on telling us the same thing, but you're not bringing nothing to the table, and you want to stay up. And then you have someone is like to keep those Negroes on the plantation, just like Lyndon Johnson said back during the time after Kennedy got assassination. Black Caucus, you listen to that bigot, allowing that bigot to keep your people on the plantation all the way up for the next 400 years. Black people heard this. This is why black men start voting in high numbers with some black women. That's why you lost, Democrats. That's why you lost. And it was not so much of that. And some people choose not to vote. But you even saw the ones that choose not to vote for political reason or religious reasons. You choose that. Or it was just basically their choice. You lost. So Kamala, what you did in California, you think that wasn't going to come back and haunt you? In this actual video that you tried to spell. And luckily with social media that caught you in a live on news clips. There were individuals that caught you doing what you did to the black women out there in California. And there are other people out there in California that don't even like you. Black Democrats, that's why your girl lost. And actually, it was people that were locked up. And she laughed at them. She laughed at innocent men, mostly black and probably Hispanic men, who did no wrong. Black women saying put truancy on women who had sick children. Think about that. That's why I said, how can someone love children, be about children? Everybody loves children from all walks of life. Why is she so determined to push this feminine to unalive something that God blessed a woman's womb to have, to bring life, to carry the seed of the family? Why? Why? Ask yourself, why would someone, and some women, people that voted for her, why? Don't you want to see the generation of your family, regardless of race, color, creed, who voted for Kamala? Don't you want to see your seed continue? God does. Why don't you? And let's just stay for record. My heart goes out to the women that's S-ing hard. My heart goes out to you. That's true. That's horrible. Anybody gets S&R, woman or man or child or whatever. And it was a case where that did happen, where a young girl got S&R. However, it's not in high numbers. Is a guy named Randy, I believe his name is Randy, pull up the facts on that. What are the chances of, out of something, a horrible condition like that what people being pregnant at high numbers? Or there women, and where is the stats? Not saying women are not having it, but even as something traumatic, God can stop something like that. The Most High can stop it if you don't let it go forward. Of the person who's a perpetrator that did the most horrific act, He can stop it. So why do women want to do this? This is a country that wants to continue to not honor the sanctity of marriage. Men and women want to collect bodies on each other. They call collecting bodies when it comes into the bedroom. And then let's say you meet somebody and the woman get kind of emotional that, she gets so mad that, well, I should be able to basically unalive this precious one because I'm not in love with him no more. So now women are thinking on emotions, not thinking on logic. And women do have logic and sense. But that's given. And then you have women who love children who can't have a baby. Wants to have been praying to God, let me have my own. Something to feel that connection and really love. There's women that love children, love babies. God bless those women that do. So so Kamala put a division between that among the women. This is why he lost Democrats. There were some women that woke up and saw this. It's a blessing for us to give life, even though it's the most painful, gruesome thing that a woman can have to bring life into the world. The procedure is. But it was probably even painful when someone goes up in you and takes something that was something precious and dispose of it. And my question is to you, to the preachers and pastors that who are pro-choice, what do you think that Jesus feels about that? Could you imagine Jesus looking at them precious souls, part of bodies? That's him and the angels are looking at this. How does he feel? How does the one who loves humanity, who loves all of us, made in his image feel when something's returned back to him because of the sin? You see how it all connects? You see how the judgment, this is one of the major judgments that's hitting the planet? Something that the creator, some people call him the creator, or in the case who have a connection, who have a relationship with the Most High God, his children. We are his children through his son Jesus Christ, Yeshua Mashiach, who loves us. How does he feel that the fact that 30 million innocent ones, heaven got 30 million something people who was supposed to have a purpose in the earth to do something, because emotional women want to unalive their children? How does heaven feel? Don't matter what my feeling, how I feel. What does the Most High God, how he feel? Nobody want to talk about that. God brings life into the Most High brings life into the earth. You got people that want to make a determination to take it out the earth. And whether some situations where the woman loses her life or the baby loses their life, it's sad on either way. But don't we believe in the Most High God, pastor, reverend? If God can do, don't you believe in Jesus, that he brought most of these people, the women, through the most horrible pain? Goes back to the Bible, all the way before the Bible. Women having children, all the way up to now. And I say to the men, if any woman decide that and you love children, she don't marry her. Don't consummate a relationship. Don't even settle down with her. Find a woman that does. Why? Because if you two decide to fornicate, you two decide and something come out of the fornication of an innocent life, and both of you agree to take that in responsible, the Most High God's going to hold both of you responsible. This is what the pastor and your reverend don't want to tell you. So think about your soul, because we don't have that long to live on this earth. Think about that. So we just as responsible as the woman. That's why God punished Adam and Eve for the sin. He didn't just, he punished the woman, but he punished the man too, because you stood agreeing with it. Think about this. And then on the medical front, if your woman's having problems, why don't you go with your gynecologist and see what your chances are, what would happen if you decide to have children? Would this cause your life, or would it cause an innocent life? If not, maybe discuss with you and your boyfriend or your significant other wearing condoms. And they have condoms and safe practices that you won't get allergic or anything like that. If that's the case, if you want to share intimacy. And even if you are not married, which you should be married, but most people are going to do what they're going to do. But if you wasn't married, protect yourself. If you want to get married and you decide you're not ready, what happened to condoms? Because that's what it comes down to. Or just don't abstain from sex to get married. But if you decide that before you get married and you can't have children, well, pray about it. That's what the Most High God is there for. It's nothing to consummate the relationship. It's all through the Bible. Why can't people use common sense stuff like this? If something basically something wrong with a woman's inside of her, to the point that it's dangerous to her to get pregnant, or she don't want to get pregnant, if she gonna be intimate with somebody, have your person intimate, wear a condom. If he don't be with that person. But you don't have to terminate a life that's in the womb. And then if that's the case, if it does happen, then pray about it. And seek God what to do about it. If an unfortunate incident like happened, if a man took that's the first one. Because he's the only one that can repair the trauma of that situation. This is wisdom. Because it's been going on for centuries after centuries. And God, even though something horrific, when something came into the world, but he turned around and turned it around. Or it can happen, a trauma, and he won't allow the life to form into the womb. And you know how when you go and take that pregnancy stick, starts right there. So in other words, what does Planned Parenthood got to say about that? Do they push that? No. Is they going to advise you something like that? No, probably not. Do they advise women of something like that? Probably not. This was taught when I was a kid, and before my time as a kid, of women in sex, education classes in high school. They taught this stuff. What happened? But this is the reason why the Democrats lost. Democrats. Think about that name. This video probably won't get this many views, but it's practically common sense. But the country was going down the drain. And the people spoke up, said no way, from all walks of life. This is why Kamala Harris, Vice President, lost the election. Don't believe me? Ask him yourself. If you believe in him, those of you who are Christians, who are pro-choice, ask him yourself. Alright then, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this so. And those who like this message, God bless you. Those who don't, well, maybe you'll think about it. I'm just a little small guy on here in my little small space. Take care, be blessed, and have a good day. And let's see what the next 4 years is going to bring. Hope it brings some prosperity. Take care, be blessed. See you next time.